Who is behind the fast fat? Who am I? Who is Ryuichiro Louis Iijima? I thought it's a good idea to let you guys know who I am if you're considering about taking me as a personal trainer or just in general. In this video, we're going to go through my life with you guys so you get to know how I became the person I am now. It's going to be a little bit long, so get a cup of tea or even better, get a pint of beer. I was born in Tokyo in 1974. I like to run around just like any kids, playing hide and seek, but nothing special. Actually, I used to hate swimming. I remember in primary school, I used to have fever every time when I had swimming lessons because the thought of swimming stressed me out. I was one of the smallest boys in the class. I was so cute. One interesting story is that I played the role of mother in a school theatre. As a joke, I expected the audience to laugh when I came out on the stage, but nothing happened. They didn't notice that I was a boy. In the last summer of my junior high school years, something amazing happened. Before the summer holiday, there's a swimming competition at school, and I was the last one in my class, including all the boys and the girls. During the summer holiday, my mates decided to go to swimming lessons every day, and they asked me if I wanted to join them. Of course, I told them, no way, I hate swimming and why would I? But they said, just to have some fun, not even swimming, but just splashing with the water. So I decided to go to these lessons with them. After the summer, there was another round of swimming competition, and I wasn't the last. I was second to the last. I somehow thought I could swim, and that misunderstanding became very, very important later in my life. By chance, I entered Shinjuku Senior High School, which has got great swimming tradition. And because I misjudged my swimming ability, I joined the swimming team, which also has got a great tradition and was quite competitive. My senpais taught me how to swim patiently, and I became a breaststroke specialist. Because our swimming team didn't have heated swimming pool, in winter we used to run quite a lot. And at my school, there's a 10K running competition for the first and second year, and I won both of them. I think the time was about 36 minutes, so I think that's quite okay. That made me think about triathlon in the future. After I competed as a breaststroke swimmer for 3 years, I did my first triathlon. I remember those really hilly course, but unfortunately I don't have photos from that. But I have photos from my second triathlon ever. It was a sprint distance event, but look at the finishing time. It took me like double of what I need now. As I finished my senior high school, my family moved to Hong Kong. Because I didn't study enough during my 3 swimming years, I wasn't ready for university entrance exams. So I decided to move to Hong Kong with my family. It totally changed my life. The norms I used to know in Japan totally became absolutely irrelevant. In the first year I worked and got enough money to get my first triathlon specific bike, Cannondale R700, which got stolen later on, but that was a good bike. Then I joined the Hong Kong national team, not the Japanese team, but the Hong Kong one. Fortunately, I got to travel around and compete. We did a week-long cycling training camp in Thailand, starting from Bangkok to Chiang Mai, even to the highest mountain in Thailand. When I competed in Beidaihe in China, I was cheered by a massive crowd. When I went to Jeju in South Korea, I was amazed by the hospitality. I even went to the ITU World Championship in Wellington back in 1994. In 1995, I went to Cancun in Mexico, where I could swim in the purest water. After structured training offered by coaches Ruth Hunt and Ian Rayson made a huge difference. That's how I started getting into sports science and coaching. Hong Kong taught me so many other things too, like the food. I love Cantonese food. I love it. And the languages like Cantonese and English. When I moved to Hong Kong, I couldn't form a sentence in English and speak out. But through triathlon training, I learned the language quite quickly. In the last year there, I worked at Nomura Asset Management, so I get to see how these people in skyscrapers work. Hong Kong government was helping these athletes really well. Personally though, I was fortunate enough to get sponsored by Chevalier for my traveling course and new equipment. As my interest in sports science and coaching grew, I moved to New Zealand. Why? When the national coach of New Zealand Triathlon at that time came to Hong Kong for lecturing coaching, and I asked him, where's a good place for me to study these things? And he said, just come to Christchurch. So I just moved there. After I studied academic English, I did a course to become personal trainer at Christchurch Polytechnic. After that, I did recreation management at Lincoln University, which is a degree to manage other people having fun. And as part of it, I studied sports science and other management papers. As I trained under Dr. John Hellmans, I got to train with top triathletes. Jenny Ross, the ITU series champion, Sarah Harrow, the junior champion back then, Chris Kimmel, who competed in Olympics later. I often did a weekend ride with an Ironman legend, Scott Molina. He didn't coach me, but I learned a lot just by riding with him. But I hit a plateau when I was around 22 years old. Suddenly, dance music became more meaningful in my life. I felt like music gave more energy to other people rather than me running around in Speedos. I think when I was around 23 years old, I stopped competing in triathlon. I kept on managing fitness centers and kept working as a personal trainer, but I started producing and DJing music. Around that time, I got to release my music for the first time on vinyl. It was a great experience DJing at clubs and to thousands of audience at festivals. I was organizing some events myself and was taking some photos too, and got into a bit of photography. I did my first ever fashion shoot in New Zealand. Sorted. I came back to Tokyo for a family reason, but I didn't fit in well. After a year, I moved to Hong Kong. I DJ'd and I did a small creative agency with a friend of mine, Resonance. I used to have a DJ residency at a small club called Yamula. It was very well respected. I played semi-regularly in Macau too. And a bit of photo shoots for magazines, but then I decided to go back to Japan. I wanted to get into the bigger world of creative industry, so I decided to teach English to creatives in Tokyo. I had a chance to show my photo portfolio to creative directors at Ogilvy and Mather. The funniest thing was one of the creative directors asked me, "Oh, were you at such and such party?" And I was like, "Yeah." He said to me that he has taken photos of me. After that, we got along quite well. And he asked me, I thought that was a joke, but he asked me if I wanted to work in his team at Ogilvy. I love you, David. I made TV ads and did activation stuff for Unilever, mainly in Japan, but all over Asia. It was fun time. I kept DJing too, but this time I started getting into more direction of techno. Halfway through my 30s, I started feeling sort of the effects of inactivity. I started going to the gym and started doing some casual triathlon. I got to know so many models around that time too, and that kind of got me more into photography. When I came to Berlin for the first time, it was grey, dark, cold, but I fell in love with it straight away. Back then, I had no idea what real Berlin is like, but I really liked the vibe. Like most young visitors to the city, I started partying quite a lot. I was at Berghain almost every weekend. I never got told no. Job-wise, I decided to become a professional photographer and I shot for Adidas Japan, famous football players and stuff. But I had a bicycle accent and I couldn't hold my medium format camera anymore. Life is funny. I just randomly saw an ad on Facebook and started working for media partisans in Potsdam. I studied their Japanese operation, and later on I managed a Japanese YouTube channel, Chietoku. I also cooked in front of cameras too. So I was working full-time and trained about 8-10 hours a week. I mainly competed at the regional league level for masters. After building endurance performance over the years, I got qualified for the half Ironman 70.3 World Championship in South Africa. In the following year, I did the 70.3 Asia Pacific Championship in Da Nang, Vietnam, and I got qualified for the World Championship in Nice. For the full Ironman distance, the story is a bit different. I decided to go to Kona. If that's possible, I would only get qualified at the European Championship in Frankfurt. Why? Because when I was at ITU World Championships, I felt like I wasn't really competing. I felt like I was just there. When I pay so much money and fly to the other side of the planet, I want to make sure that my performance is right up there. That's why. For 2023 though, I decided just to do Ironman Hamburg and compete at 70.3 World Championships in Lahti in Finland, because I'm qualified already. Whoa, that was my resume so far. As you've heard, I've worked full-time and achieved quite okay results. Naturally, many of my friends started asking me about health and fitness and endurance performance. That's why I decided to go back to my old occupation, personal trainer. This time it's online, so I can help everyone around the world. What I've learned in my triathlon life is that if you don't enjoy, that's the end of it. That's why I keep my program as enjoyable as possible. And it doesn't mean just like have fun, but there should be some intrinsic motivation, and I stimulate that. Well-structured and scientific training makes everything a lot more effective. For example, my performance now is quite similar to my performance back in my 20s. Thanks to scientific advancements, it changed a lot over the years. I'll eliminate all the fads out of your life, so you're not gonna waste your time. If you're interested in free consultation, get in the line. Just drop me an email or write me a message on Instagram. I post YouTube videos randomly, so please do subscribe and hit the bell if you haven't, and hit a like. See you in the next video.